What's going on? How you doing? The news has been crazy. So fucking crazy. Donald Trump deputized the National Guard, sends the federales down to LA. Tom Hooman, who is ironically not human, threatens the governor and mayor of California and LA. Billy Joe Armstrong, who I'm not a huge Green Day fan, but I appreciate Billy Joe taking a moment on his Instagram to shout out the protesters, the Americans, the true patriots. And what else? There's a ton in the news. There's so much news. I don't even know where to begin or what to talk about. I will say this. I don't think the National Guard has been. Well, let's just be clear too. Kristi Noem and people in this regime, because most of them are Fox News people, they all detested if Biden was going to use the National Guard against civilians. But now it's okay, to enforce their regime. I don't think this has been done since the 60s with Ohio State. And I think before that, still in the 60s, Lyndon Johnson had to send the National Guard to calm down the racists and let a little girl go to school. So, I mean, it's been 60 years since something like this has happened. And I would just encourage people, whoever is reading the news, watching the news, to think about what's going on. A regime who has skipped due process for people and admitted that. They've admitted they don't need to have a due process. They've admitted that they've made mistakes in picking people up. They've admitted these things. So these are not like controversial things to say. Like, they're disappearing people. And they're not like fine-tooth combing it. They're not doing their due diligence. They're not even doing a half-assed job. They're doing like quarter-ass job. And that's their own admission, saying, "Oop, we got the wrong guy, but he's there now, not our problem." So this is like a regime that's admitted to that. And I would think any American that hears like, oh, the U.S. government took someone with no due process, sent them to a different country, to a prison, admitted that it was a mistake, and now just says deal with it, and the courts are trying to force them to bring this dude back. So that's just all like admitted on record. You would figure if they are willing to admit that and admit that they disappeared someone from the United States, sent them to a foreign prison, like, I just want you to hear, take the blue and red boxes off your head, okay, if you subscribe to that. I know not everybody does, and I'd like to think more and more people are waking up from the Democrat, Republic crap machine. Scary, similar to 1930s Germany, 100%. But I mean, just take off the who gives a shit about politicians? I mean, they come and go. I hate to break this to people. This is like going to be some hard news for some to hear. Politicians come and go. None of them stick around. They're human. None of them. I mean, some of them in Congress, my God, I don't know if they're vampires or how they make it that long, but for the majority of politicians, except for those ones that keep dying in Congress, fucking crazy. This is beyond me that we can have politicians die in our government because they've been serving so long. Like, how they don't get 86 and kick the fuck out of there, and go have a happy retirement. Just get out of here. But I really want people to understand, like, politicians come and go. Our communities our families, our country, hopefully, is supposed to be an idea that is here to stay. We're supposed to be progressing things for the better. So I want people to consider, when they see what's happening in the news, when you see the Battle of Los Angeles, I would hope you'd understand that many people coming out can't be just radical leftists who are just intent on taking down the government. It's like, bitch, how are these people being labeled as insurrectionists when they're defending their home, they're defending their city from a foreign invasion by their own government, if that makes any sense? When there was a mob of people who attacked the Capitol, and they won't even call them insurrection. You know what I mean? It's like, I just want people to pay attention. Take off. Just get out of the red or blue box and think of yourself as an American. I really encourage people to do that, because when you think about it like that and you just see what's going down, that the government is sending in troops into our cities, and the people, God bless them, I stand with them. It's amazing. They are courageous. They are heroic. They're defending their territory, their homes, and they're defending their neighbors from, not being given due process, from being taken off the streets, from, a regime that has admittedly made many, many mistakes, and who they don't, I know all the language they use is we hire the best people, and they always qualify themselves with the adjectives that never are negative or never admit to mistake. You never hear Donald Trump admit to a mistake. Though in court records and in documentation, you see the proof. So that's the other thing. I don't understand how people can follow someone who has never been like, you know what, I'm not the best at that. And that's okay. Like, these people something's severely wrong with them if they think they're the greatest at everything they've ever done. Anything you broach this regime on, any topic, it's been the best in recorded history. Which, isn't that suspect? Do people not find that so suspect? That a government's answer to anything could be from egg prices, which I read somewhere that Donald Trump is saying, Don Taco is saying egg prices are down 400%. And you just go, I don't think stuff can go 400% down. So are they paying us 300% of the eggs? Is that why people are throwing fireworks at the cops? They're defending their community. I just want you to think for a second, JD Slide. If those were federal agents coming into your neighborhood to take your neighbors without any kind of due process, or people that were abiding by the law who were here legally, you can defend this regime all you want. I won't. And, I think that says more about you. If you're one of those people that, thinks the people should just shut up and take it. Doesn't matter if there's due process. Or did you bring up, JD Slide, did you bring up the people that are supposed to be trained to encounter hectic situations that shot a reporter with a rubber bullet? Funny you didn't bring that up first. 40 National Guards for the tornado disaster in St. Louis. Oh my God. I say, JD Slide, if you believe in the history of this country, I say when we are being infringed upon by a tyrannical dictator, you got to act accordingly. But, you can look at the fireworks being thrown and ignore the cops that were on horses that beat a guy that was on the ground. You can ignore the Australian woman who was reporting, and a cop, it's on video. He's sitting there doing nothing, and he just points at her and shoots a rubber bullet and hits her in the leg. It's wild. But yeah, bring up the fireworks. 2,000 National Guard to help separate families, co-workers, friends, and neighbors. Timothy Travis, good to see you again. What's up, CJ? That's what I mean. Timothy, the other thing that concerns me that there's only 40 National Guard for the tornado disaster is I feel like before you would have more Well, I know I've read about people that live in those areas that are not getting the updates like they should be, and time is crucial when there's a tornado. But what really concerned me with all the cuts and stuff and everything I was reading, I was like, I don't even feel like I'm hearing about, that it's tornado season, that there's tornadoes hitting, that there's natural, like they decimated so much. And I feel horrific for the people that live there, that it's like we have the technology, but they just defunded it and fired everybody who worked there. But yeah, it's amazing. You can see that's the craziest part, that these people, you can see what they value by what they invest in. If they're not sending, if all the news is the National Guard going to LA and not to tornado relief, they don't care about the people. They care about their authority. Don Taco, yep. It's incredible, man. It's just been hectic. And the thing is, and this is what people are going to have to learn, just like Elon Musk is going to learn. Don Taco isn't for anyone but himself. He don't care about nobody. And I would argue that there's a whole handful of politicians, maybe even a double handful, maybe even a baker's quadruplet of politicians that do not give a rip about us, because they are well funded by the corporations that like the power. And Don Taco sits right at the top of that pile, But I just want people, when they're reading about things, when they're reading the news, when they're threatening to arrest mayors and governors who aren't going along with the plan. I mean, all the warning signs are here, folks. And it's amazing to me that some people will trivialize it down to like, oh, you shouldn't be mean to cops. Yeah, that's the issue here. Those are the people I would say, well, if you don't want to get shot, just don't do something bad. And then all these news stories kept coming out about people that were doing nothing, that didn't have a weapon, that had a cell phone, that weren't, then the videos started coming out, and then the cops fought to not have to wear body cam. It's so amazing, And it's like, here in America, you could be minding your absolute own business and be brutalized by a regime. It's sad, And I hope people start waking up. I hope people will listen to other ideas, or just consider, because I hate to say that, I really hate this. I hate doing this, but it's like, I want them to think about if this was their Joe Brandon, doing this. Well, I already know. It's just so stupid. I hate even making that argument. It's so dumb, because there's Kristi Noem, the who knows what she is in this regime. All their titles are arbitrary. They all just do whatever Donald says. So is your role important if there's no really specifics to it? Really? At your work, would it matter what your role is if you just waited to listen to what the top guy said and you just couldn't do anything else? So all their roles don't mean anything. But there's, clips of Kristi Noem saying, if Biden did something with the National Guard, it would be tyranny. There's a clip for everything. And none of these people care. They don't care that they're hypocritical. They just care that they have the power and the money. And I like to challenge people, say, if Don Taco really cared about workers, the easiest thing he could do is an executive order, raise the minimum wage federally. Just executive order that. Like, prove that you can. Like, there's so many easy, shitty, basic things to do. Like, he could just guaranteed paid parental leave, guaranteed paid time off. Why are none of those his presidential memos, his executive orders? I really want people to ask themselves this, and don't tough guy it. And people are like, no, you just got to work hard or get a college degree. It's like, he could do so many things for the working class. He can get rid of student loan debt. He could, think about all the there's hundreds of his presidential memos that he's put out there. And for the people who think he cares about you, just so you know why the federal minimum wage affects you, because if the federal minimum wage goes up, That's stiffer competition, and that means everybody's going to want to go get those jobs. So other jobs, we're going to have to jack up their rates, and then they will have to pay their people more. It's the same thing with when all the auto workers went on strike and they negotiated their raise, they bargained for a better deal. Go look up Elon Musk company, notorious union buster who does not have any unions at his auto company. He gave everyone a raise right after. Why? Because he didn't want to lose them to the good paying companies. So it's just proven. You can look this stuff up. When unions are in your town, when unions are nearby, your wages go up. Unions make, I think, 12% more, 15% more. But I'm like, out of all the executive memos that he keeps making, none of them have seemed to really impact any workers. I know his regime has laid off a ton of people. They're getting rid of a lot of people. They're eroding our rights very quickly. But I haven't seen them do things like that could impact us immediately. What was that home loan thing that Kamala wanted to do? I mean, there are things that you could easily do. He could just say, we're going to figure out universal health care. Remember he said he has thoughts of a plan, concepts of a plan for healthcare? I mean, it's all lies. Google is still free for now. But the thing with Google is just be careful what your results are, That's the thing. It's so tricky. It's so tricky that people get trapped in a box, a red or blue box, or a corporate box. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But I just want you to look and see when the foreign invader is your own government, where do you stand? Where do you stand? If they came into your home, if they came, into your neighborhood, if this wasn't this regime, politicians come and go, folks. Some of this shit is irreparable damage, And I want you to think about last time they used the National Guard like this. Was it Ohio State? I'm pretty sure. That's the only time I can really think about them using the National Guard to go out and silence people that are like, hey, you can't do this. We got a constitution. I mean, Trump is on. Terry Moran. I kept calling him something else. Terry Moran just got suspended from ABC because he called Stephen Miller unhinged and basically critiqued this regime, and he got suspended from work. I mean, what does that tell you? What does that tell you about your news outlets? That no critique will be. It's like the time I was on the radio and I was like, I hate Metallica, and right after I got off the air, they were like, you can't say that shit. Oh, well, we're giving away tickets. And I thought, that's so dumb. Just let it be real. God. And I got in trouble. So what do you think? Terry Moran criticizes Stephen Miller, the white supremacists in the White House, and Trump throws a little tantrum about it, and he gets suspended. This is crazy. Who do you side with? Do you really side with people like that? I mean, what does our future look like if so? CJ, unemployment is up for the past 2 months. And remember, all these numbers, these economy numbers, unemployment also doesn't qualify people who just stop filing or can't apply anymore, or just, stop looking because there's no good job. Yeah, Terry Moran, I got more and more respect for that dude. More and more. Okay, guys, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm just mentally not doing that great. I'm really having a tough one right now. So apologize for the low energy, but I just want people to consider. I didn't put any link. I have a bunch of new stuff that I don't know. I don't know. It's very hard to exist right now. Thank God. I mean, I love my kids. I love my brother. I love my family. I love my wife. But other than that, it's so hard to exist. It's so difficult to exist. So many people that, what is the end game for people who are like, yeah, send in the National Guard and send everyone to, what are they going to send? All of LA, the mayor, the governor of California? Do they just want to send everyone to a foreign prison? What is the end goal? I don't even get it. They just want their authority respected, even though Trump is on camera saying he doesn't know if he has to uphold the Constitution. Like, that's a fucking real clip from a president. And people support this moron. I don't get it. I'm really struggling right now. Oh. Jesus. But do yourself a favor, stay informed. Stay together. Organize. Much love, much respect. Peace.